Hi guys, welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. And I'm super excited to be here because we have a lot of things that we're going to be talking about, all right? So make sure to stay tuned for the conversation. Make sure to stay tuned for the conversation because that way you can actually make sure that you are always informed and you're always updated about the very latest that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world as well, all right? So don't forget to share your thoughts, share your opinions with me. All you need to do is just text me or call me on 078 let me know what you're thinking because now we're going to be talking about if the world is running out of vaccines, all right? And obviously this is a big problem because at this moment of time we need to make sure that there's enough vaccines for this whole world to get by, right? And obviously this is with this whole concern that if we don't get enough people vaccinated as much as we possibly can, then this fight against COVID-19 isn't actually going to be of any use, right? And that is simply because of the fact that not everyone's vaccinated. So the rate of infection, the risk of death will still be very high for all of these people who aren't vaccinated, right? And obviously, we have, it's so ironic because while we have one side of the world that's worried about not getting enough vaccines, we have another side of the world that has way too many vaccines, and now they just want to start giving booster jobs to people, all right? And that's why we have this whole problem of vaccine inequality to begin with, right? Now before we actually head into that conversation and I share all of my thoughts and opinions with you, I want to know what your thoughts and opinions are, all right? So don't forget to text me or call me on 078 share your thoughts, share your opinions, but also while you're at it, don't forget to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and actually make sure that you're always informed and updated with the very latest news that happens in the world, all right? And obviously, don't forget to go download our app either because that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and you're updated and you're making sure that you know everything that's happening with regard to sports, science, health, technology, environment, global development, whatever it is that you want to, make yourself educated about. All right. It's that's as easy as it is, right? And now let's actually head into a conversation because we're going to be talking about if the world is actually running out of vaccines, all right? Now this seems to be the big, $100 question for a lot of people in the world because the truth is it's not just okay. The fact of the matter is something like the world running out of vaccines wouldn't be a problem to people living in the United Kingdom, right? Why? Because we've already been vaccinated, right? So we don't really see any point in getting stressed out about the fact that the world is running out of vaccines. However, for people who live in other parts of the world, right, like much poorer countries, like developing countries, this is in fact a big problem. And the reason for that obviously is because these people haven't gotten vaccinated, right? And some of them haven't even received their first dose. And information has actually showed that the time that these poorer countries could actually access a vaccine would be 2023, and that's not even next year. That's almost another 2 years, right? And that's really scary because imagine having to wait that long to get a vaccine simply because of the greed of other nations actually stopped you from getting that vaccine, right? Which is why there is this whole new discussion of something called fractional doses, all right? Now if you don't know what fractional doses are, it's very simple because I will tell you about it. Now fractional doses are in fact being proposed as a way of ensuring that precious supplies of this vaccine can actually immunize as many people as possible in parts of the world where there are shortages, right? And what is happening is that you will now get a much lesser amount of the vaccine. However, you will still have high levels of protection from the virus. Now, you might ask, how can you have higher immunity if you're only going to get half of the dose? Now, this is what is happening. Now, all of this is very new. All of this research, all of these thoughts, they're very new. So it's still in the process of being trialed. People are still trying to figure out what exactly is going on. How exactly do we make this as immune as the normal dose? all of those hows, whys, whens, wheres, all of those are still in the works. All right. Now, several members of the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunization, which advises the UK government, are actually said to be interested, very interested, if I might add, in this idea. All right. Now, lower doses of vaccines to tackle other diseases have been used in times of shortages. This is not something new. So the JCVI is in fact expected to rule out an immediate booster vaccine program for all adults because it's waiting for more research to emerge. And although our government is in fact poised to proceed with follow-up jabs for a lot of people at risk, and there is still a lot of research that we still need to conduct into this. All right. Now make sure to stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to discuss this more. So until then, make sure you stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relaks Radio, and I want to very quickly, let you know the number you can text me or call me on before we head into the conversation. So you can text me or call me on 078-52473473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, and let me know what you are thinking. All right, we're talking about if the world is running out of vaccines. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Please do feel free to share it with me because I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say. All right. And don't forget to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and actually make sure that you're always informed and you're always updated about all of these three things by just staying tuned to Relaks Radio. I mean, that's as simple as it is. All right. So don't forget to share your thoughts and don't forget to share your opinions because I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say. All right. Now, something else you can do is also to go download our app because that's available for free on both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed about all of these. So don't forget to, download that. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, and let me know what exactly is happening with you. Okay. But now let's actually head into our conversation because we're going to be talking about if the world is running out of vaccines. Now, like I said, there is in fact a vaccine shortage in the world, and we're still trying to figure out what exactly we need to do to help us with this problem. All right. So like I said, the JCVI is in fact waiting for research based on all of the vaccines that are currently there for them to take any decision that they have to with regard to giving smaller doses of booster vaccines to adults who really, really need it. Right. So like I said, this whole vaccine, booster vaccines could actually start as early as next month, right? Now, hospital admissions and deaths from the virus actually rose very slightly last week with about 100 deaths reported each day, right? So that is why we need to give the booster vaccine in our country because we need to make sure that we can still maintain that rate of infection, that rate of death, and make sure that we protect people as much as possible, right? Now, the effect of using lower doses in booster jabs is in fact one of the questions that are being explored in an ongoing COVID booster trial that is being overseen by University Hospital Southampton, right? And that is what is happening. So there is still research that is being done, and it is in fact being funded by the government's Vaccine Task Force and the National Institute for Health Research. All right. Now, after they do their research, they will actually inform their findings. They will inform whatever it is that they have come across to the JCVI, right? And what they are going to do then after that is then the JCVI will actually make a decision based on the information they have been provided, right? So obviously these findings will inform the JCVI's decision about an autumn booster program alongside data from other trials and studies. All right. So researchers are also examining the safety and side effects of different doses, as it's possible that lower amounts of vaccine could boost immune responses while reducing the risk of side effects, right? Now, the other thing is we have different vaccines that behave in different ways. So there's still so much more that we still need to find and we still need to work on, right? But at the same time, while keeping that in mind, we have to make sure that we prioritize and we make sure that a lot of people are vaccinated. We make sure that they're much more safer, and they're much more protected from the virus, and the only way to do that is through these booster shots. Right now, however, while we're at this question of booster shots, while we're at this question of should people be given booster shots, what we need to keep in mind is, sure, after a few months, after a few weeks, that immunity that you get from the COVID-19 vaccine is going to reduce, right? However, having said that, it doesn't mean that your body is completely out of immunity, right? And the truth is, that booster shot you're getting might actually be helpful for someone who hasn't even got their first shot of the vaccine yet, right? Because those people have absolutely no immunity, whereas you have at least a little bit of immunity, right? So that's why it's important to keep that in mind, and that's why so many people around the world are actually calling for the pause of these booster vaccine campaigns, or even to reduce the amount of boosters that are given, so we can in fact help everyone else in the world who are struggling with COVID-19, and who's actually struggling to make sure that they protect themselves, they protect their families, and keep themselves safe as well. And this is just the truth, because of this vaccine inequality, and even inequality in general. If anything, what we've seen is that because of the inequality that already exists within the world, that has in fact been made much more distinctive, right? Because now we can clearly see how poorer countries are at a disadvantage when it comes to finding a new cure, right? Finding new medicine, right? And that's just the truth of it. So this in itself is distinctive, or it in itself portrays another problem that currently exists, right? So it's important to keep that in mind as well, because otherwise, if we don't keep that in mind, and we don't try to make sure that everyone gets the vaccines, then we're not really going to win our fight against COVID-19. Right now, some epidemiologists actually would like to see more studies commissioned because of the potential to actually help with global vaccine supplies, right? It's also estimated that about 11 billion doses will be needed to fully vaccinate at least 70% of the world's population. At the start of July, only 3.2 billion jabs had been administered. So there's so much more where we have to go to actually make sure that we protect everyone. All right, and now we're actually going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to discuss this. But until then, make sure you stay tuned.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you got to start with saying, well, what do I want my net worth to be? So that there's a goal, and then work backwards. How do I get there? And if I can start with £50 or $50 a week, if I save that every week, and you can go online and use calculators online. I don't have to teach you the maths behind it, but you can say, okay, and if I get a 3% return and I put this away for how long will it take to reach my goal? And that's called just this basic cash flow projection calculations. And it's what we use in financial planning all the time. What we say to clients is we say, okay, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to go to? And we discuss that in a lot of detail and over most of the meeting. And then the rest of it is saying, okay, in your exact circumstances, with your risk profile, with how you feel about